the rosters, it might make it a lot easier for them. Otherwise, they just keep trying to our stats.
In accordance with tradition at Southern Virginia University, we'll begin with the word of prayer, which will be offered by Brooklyn Porter.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for this day and for this time that we have to watch and play the wonderful sport of volleyball. We pray that the players will play to the best of their abilities and that no harm or accident will come upon us or them. And we pray that the rest will be able to see everything clearly and make the correct calls, and that when the time comes, everyone will travel home safely. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Now, if you'll all please rise and face the flag for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you. And now for the starting lineups for the visiting team for North Carolina. At right side, number 2, Jack Hoppy. Outside hitter, number 7, Clayton Gates. And outside, number 9, Sean Gibson.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Night Arena here in Buena Vista, Virginia, the site of today's NCAA Division III men's volleyball matchup between the Tar Heels of the University of North Carolina club team and your Knights of Southern Virginia University. I'm Dawson Weidrich, joining you on the Knights Broadcasting YouTube channel for the second consecutive day of Southern Virginia men's volleyball here in the barn, as the Knights look to continue their winning ways to start this young 2023 season. So far, they're 3-0 and haven't lost a single set on the year. The most recent victory coming last night against Arcadia, 3-0. Got some starters here for both sides. For University of North Carolina, you have number 2, Jack Hoppy, number 4, Creed Maines, number 7, Clayton Gates, number 9, Sean Gibson, number 11, Ruperto Martinez, number 20, Andy Jin, and number 23, Hunter Nelson. And for the Knights of Southern Virginia, you have number 1, Christo Bianchine, number 4, Jeremy Brown, number 6, Justin Madsen, number 10, Tyler Schaefer. Madsen, of course, being a libero, so he'll be rotating in. Number 11, Christian Schaefer, number 15, Jayton Hall, and number 20, Steven Rasmussen. Basically, every single player that I listed for Southern Virginia just then last night had a monster game. Really were very successful against the Knights of Arcadia University. And again, look to continue their winning ways as they start off with their 4th straight home game to start the year. In fact, they'll have 5 straight games at home when they face off on Monday against the club team of Liberty University here in the barn of Buena Vista, following which they will finally travel for an away game on February 3rd against California Lutheran University. So if you're going to start a season, might as well start with 5 straight home games. Get your home crowd involved, get some of that home court advantage going your way, build a momentum to start off the year, as well as just get fans into it. So we'll get started here with this matchup, again, between the club team of University of North Carolina and your Southern Virginia University Knights. And I always like to point this out whenever Southern Virginia plays against club teams. It wasn't that long ago when Southern Virginia themselves were just a club team with this men's volleyball program. And in just the past 6-7 years, they've gone from being a club team to a team that's been very formidable in Division III of men's volleyball in the NCAA. And so again, it just goes to show that as you continue to push and work on building up a program, good things can happen if you have the right foundation, great coaching, great culture established. So you never know when it comes to the University of North Carolina men's volleyball. Maybe the next couple years you can see it being an official program for the university, see it being an official team. Both sides amped up to get this one underway. You know, talking about last night, one of the leaders in statistics for the Knights was Jeremy Brown. He had 14 kills in last night's victory against Arcadia University. You know, Christian Schaefer also chipping in. You also had Bianchine having a fantastic game in the middle. Look to see if those players have repeats of successes last night. Another one that stood out from last night's performance was senior number 20, Steven Rasmussen. Steven Rasmussen, I believe in the second set, was absolutely a formidable force at the net, getting several blocks, a couple of them in a row, might I add. And was really feeling it last night. In fact, I saw his Instagram post. He was showing all the blocks that he had, and it was absolutely a fantastic game on part of Rasmussen. And now serving for the Tar Heels is number 11. That's Martinez, and that serve is just short. And the Knights start off with the lead. And back to serve for the Knights is number 15, Jayton Hall, the sophomore from Quinn Creek, Arizona. Hall so far this year has 17 kills to his name. Here's the serve. Solid receive that time from Gibson. Bianchine keeps it alive. Here's a pass to Brown. It's going to sail out, be a point for the Tar Heels. Looked like for a second that maybe Brown's hit may have touched the hand of a middle blocker for the Tar Heels, but no dice. Now back to serve for North Carolina is number 2, Jack Hoppy. Here's Brown. Solid dig that time from Creed Maines. Must be a net on the Tar Heels. I believe they're going to send the number 23, Hunter Nelson. Got a little too far into the net. Now back to serve for Southern Virginia is Jeremy Brown, the sophomore from Mesa, Arizona.
Yes, Jim.
Christian Schaefer. Solid play that time from Schaefer, getting his first kill of the game. Brown back to serve once again. Right on that back line. What a serve from Jeremy Brown. Gets the first service ace for either side in today's contest. The Knights have a freebie play. And Tyler Schaefer setting it up for Cristo Bianchine. What a play. Perfectly timed. Bianchine ready to meet it right at the peak. We saw that several times last night for Bianchine in last night's victory over Arcadia. The Knights now have a 5-1 lead in this first set.
Trouble! Tip, 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 tip.
It's touched. Hall able to get it up. Brown from the back row, keeping it alive.
Free ball, free ball.
Trying to get it over was Creed Maines, but it'll fall just short of the net. Point Knights. Here's Brown again. Christian Schaefer at the net, ready to defend against number 20, Andy Jin. Just a slight struggle with serve receive from number 9, Sean Gibson. That serve from Brown just a little bit too far. Point Tar Heels. Now back to serve for North Carolina is number 7, Clayton Gates. The outside hitter who's gotten a lot of targets so far. Schaefer special. Order up. It's hot and ready to go. There's a Schaefer special once again. We've seen the two Schaefer brothers team up time and time again on those assists. That time, Christian Schaefer, noticing someone was there, decided to give a little friendly touch over the net. Nothing too crazy, but a point for Southern Virginia. Here's Cristo Bianchine, the sophomore from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Service ace for Bianchine. Power behind that, very difficult to handle. And ends up slamming against the shot clock on the other side of the court. Sure, the athletic department at Southern Virginia not necessarily happy to see that. But the Knights now have a 7-point lead here in this first set. Here's Bianchine. That hit sails on him. Southern Virginia, after that ace, now has 2. First one coming from Jeremy Brown, second one from Bianchine. See senior Steven Rasmussen coming in. And that service from Hunter Nelson, number 23. Here's Hall. That falls for Hall as number 2, Jack Hoppy, not able to dig that one. Having some fun sideline chants from the Southern Virginia bench as number 10, Tyler Schaefer, back to serve. Beautiful serve on the near side, just past the 10-foot line. That is service ace number 3 for the Knights. Schaefer back to serve once again. That one just short. Point to the Tar Heels. Now back to service number 20, Andy Jin. Schaefer to Schaefer. Here's Brown from the back row, flying in, getting that one to fall. Now back to service number 11, Christian Schaefer, who already has a kill today. Fantastic effort on the serve receive from Creed Maines. Schaefer to Rasmussen. It's going to be out. It was a good setup. Rasmussen was convinced that one of the Tar Heels had tipped it on the way out. But now number 9, Sean Gibson to serve. Wise decision from Christian Schaefer. He was about to go for it and stepped aside, letting it sail out. Cristo Bianchine back in for Southern Virginia as Steven Rasmussen will be back to serve. Fantastic touch play that time from number 2, Jack Hoppy. He had Bianchine and Rasmussen right in front of him and wisely decided to just simply give it a little love tap over the net and let it drop just in front of Jeremy Brown. Waiting for a substitution here. Coming in to serve for the Tar Heels is number 11, Ruperto Martinez. Here's Martinez. Scorers table here having a discussion about the rotation, making sure that everything is in order. Again, there was just some confusion as Martinez was checking in. I believe he was checking in from number 19, Elias Wen. Pardon me, he was actually checking in for Zaire Sharifi. The discussion's still going on, waiting on the official word. Down ref and up ref will now be discussing this further. While we have the short break, we want to give our athletic partners Straws Drinks and Eats some appreciation. Straws Drinks and Eats here in Buena Vista, Virginia is a great place to go. You want to get a soda, want to get a treat, want to just go to a place that's nice and relaxing. Straws Drinks and Eats is the place for you. My wife and I go there very frequently. Very much enjoy every time we go. My drink, of course, my drink of choice when I go there is a Dr. Pepper, vanilla, cherry, lime, and some almond cream. Can't go wrong with that. Straws Drinks and Eats, thank you so much for your support of Southern Virginia athletics. We appreciate you. So now hopefully the confusion has been settled, at least between the refs here. Now in situations like this where you have a long pause in play, it could possibly stifle momentum that one side has, give momentum to the other. Perfect example of this is the Super Bowl just a couple of years ago between the 49ers and the Rams when the power went out and the Mercedes Stadium. And momentum completely shifted from one team to the other, making it more of an interesting game. So you never know with situations like this. Maybe North Carolina can take advantage, go on a little run of their own. Schaefer to Bianchine, shutting that idea down rather quickly. Another quick one set over the middle. Coming back in for the Tar Heels is number 4, Creed Maines. And serving for Southern Virginia is number 15, Jayton Hall. The ceiling of the arena here, giving a little bit of help to the Knights, a little bit of home court advantage. All back to serve once again. Knocking it down that time was number 23. Hunter Nelson. That was the cleanest setup for the Tar Heels all game long. Got some substitutions for the Knights, including number 18, Kyler Evans, and number 13, Jeff Tomlinson. We saw a little bit of this last night when the Knights got ahead 2-0 over the Knights of Arcadia. Southern Virginia ended up adding in some substitutions, getting some players some added playing time. Another conversation happening here about substitutions. This time on part of the Knights. But now back to serve for the Tar Heels is number 2, Jack Hoppy. That'll be the first service ace for the Tar Heels. Tomlinson, Bianchine. Taking advantage of that free play there was Bianchine. It was a great effort for the dig from Maines, but ended up going right back over the net, and Bianchine ran down the net, jumped up off one foot, slamming it down. Point for Southern Virginia with Brown to serve. That serve just a little too far. You know, Jeremy Brown has so much power behind his hits that sometimes it's understandable if it's not able to be contained. Now serving for the Tar Heels is number 7, Clayton Gates. Tomlinson. They're going to call a double on that one. That was an awkward set from the get-go. He was trying to get it across the floor to Christian Schaefer. So now the Tar Heels bring it back within 6. With Gates back to serve once again. That serve just short. Senior middle blocker Stephen Rasmussen coming back in. With Cristo Bianchine back to serve. grazing the top of the net. I believe that was both Maines and Gates trying to go for it. Ends up falling right in front of him due to the top spin on that one. Here's Bianchine. That one sails on him. And come back onto the floor is libero Justin Madsen. Kind of a broken play there for Southern Virginia. Not able to get a successful attack. That time, solid power behind the hit from Sean Gibson. Just doesn't go quite high enough, and regardless, there were both Christian Schaefer and Steve Rasmussen right there in case it did. Kyler Evans, the sophomore from Gilbert, Arizona, will be back to serve. A freebie play for Schaefer. Right there to try to disrupt it was Andy Ginn, but ends up sailing off the hands of Ginn out of bounds. Point for Southern Virginia. Great heads-up play that time from Ginn. Schaefer was right there, but wasn't suspecting the trickery from the setter. Checking back in for the Knights is number 10, Tyler Schaefer, and number 15, Jayton Hall, with Andy Ginn back to serve for the Tar Heels. Schaefer. Gonna call a net on the Tar Heels. With Christian Schaefer back to serve. The Knights 4 points away from first set victory. Christian Schaefer so far with 4 kills today. Perfectly set up for Brown. He sails up, knocks it down, another point for the Knights. Maines with the serve receive. Rasmussen right there with the hands. The ball sails out, point for the Tar Heels. Schaefer to Hall. And it's tapped at the net, but it goes out of bounds off of number 7, Clayton Gates. So now the Knights 2 points away from taking this first set. Got a substitution for Southern Virginia and number 14, Curtis Stone. He will check in for Steven Rasmussen. Stone, the sophomore from Gilbert, Arizona. Several players on this roster from Gilbert. Bianchine keeps it alive, but hits it too far back for Christian Schaefer to get to. Point for the Tar Heels. Some great work at the net, I believe that time for number 2, Jack Hoppy, as Rasmussen checks back in for Stone. And coming back into the game for the Tar Heels is number 23, Hunter Nelson, as well as number 11, Ruperto Martinez, who will be serving. A little bit of a makeshift set that time from Tyler Schaefer. Here's Brown. Great block that time from Hoppy. Hoppy was in perfect position. Hands were exactly where they needed to be. And against a player like Jeremy Brown, no less, getting that block is no small feat. Back row, Christian Schaefer. Diving for the dig that time was Andy Ginn. They're going to call a double on the Tar Heels. Make it set point for Southern Virginia. Back to serve for the Knights is number 15, Jayton Hall. Hall so far with 2 kills. Beautiful setup. Tyler Schaefer gets into the action to seal the victory in this first set for the Knights. So with that 25-15 set win, that makes 10 straight set victories to start the year for the Knights of Southern Virginia. We saw a couple of great things from the Tar Heels throughout the first set, got a couple of solid attacks, a couple of solid hits, and some good work at the net as well. Several blocks, 1 solo block, no block assists, but at least make things a little difficult for Southern Virginia down the stretch, which is exactly what we want to see in North Carolina's club team. Some statistical leaders for you so far. For Southern Virginia, leading the way in kills is Christian Schaefer with 4. Cristo Bianchi falls behind him with 3, as well as Jeremy Brown with 3. And Jayton Hall falls behind them with 2. And leading the way for the Tar Heels is Zara Sharifi with 2 kills, Jack Hoppy with 2, Andy Jin with 1, and Hunter Nelson with 1. So again, like I mentioned before, some great work happening from both sides of the net here. North Carolina making things a little difficult for Southern Virginia in that first set. But we'll take a short break before the beginning of the second set.
Well, it's because they're going for like the specific spots. So obviously, exactly because they're aiming so specifically. It's like any other sport, like what's the opposite.
And we're back for the start of the second set between the Tar Heels and North Carolina University and your Southern Virginia University Knights. The Knights took the first set by a score of 25-15. But one thing we noticed here on the broadcasting staff during the break was that that score was a lot closer than the Knights would like it to be, and a lot of that was due to the fact that Southern Virginia had a total of 10 errors in that first set, including 3 attack errors. They also had they had a block error, they had 5 service errors, and reception errors, they had 1. That definitely did not help their case whatsoever. Again, still able to get the victory by 10 points. And so I'd imagine in that break between the sets, Southern Virginia head coach Tom Peterson was over there talking to them saying, hey, we're making more mistakes than we should. Let's clean some things up and make sure we come out of here with a clean played game. Let's not make this a game where we just kind of escape because of our playing ability. Because again, you have high quality players in this roster. Let's not make that the only reason that we win today. Let's make sure we play it clean and fundamental game. The ceiling that time coming into play gives the Knights the first point of the second set. And like I mentioned before the break as well, that first set victory gives the Knights 10 straight set victories to begin the season. Looking to extend that to 11. That'll go down to the service ace for Tyler Schaefer. Number 7, Clayton Gates, not able to handle that serve. He's been pretty consistent at being able to do that all game long for the most part. So a rare mistake we've seen from him. Winning the battle at the net that time was Christian Schaefer. The first pass a little close to the net for Andy Jin's liking, so he's trying to play around with it. He had a similar play in that first set where he got a little tricky, sent it right over the net. No one was prepared for it on Southern Virginia's side, but that time Christian Schaefer was right there. Solid first pass. And that'll go down for number 9, Sean Gibson, one of the cleanest attacks we've seen from the Tar Heels club team so far today. And now back to serve for the Tar Heels is number 20, Andy Jin. Here's Bianchine. Madsen to Schaefer. Schaefer having to lean back a little bit, but no matter, able to get it down right in front of Gates. Makes the score 4-1. Now back to serve is number 11, Christian Schaefer. Here's the set. That time hitting it was Jack Hoppy. This get blocked out of bounds off the hand of Zaire Sharifi. Another point for the Knights. Again, you're seeing a lot of solid play from North Carolina's team. They got players in position at the net, in the back row, able to set themselves up for some solid attacks. Just not able to capitalize. That serve that time from Christian Schaefer. Going a little far. If we were playing the game of baseball, we'd say that is out of here, but of course that takes a different connotation in the game of volleyball. Now back to serve for the Tar Heels is number 9, Sean Gibson. One of the rare receiving errors for Southern Virginia that results in an immediate point for the Tar Heels. We've seen the flip side of that happen several times in that first set. Schaefer to Hall. Here's Hall again. Great dig that time from Gibson. Knights keeping it alive. Here's Hall. Beautiful play, hitting it on the near side. Great placement as North Carolina was struggling to get players in position to challenge him. Great effort that time by Bianchine to keep it alive. As Bianchine is back to serve. Serve just short. Brings it back within 2. Come back in for the Tar Heels is number 23, Hunter Nelson. Another substitution here, being number 22, Jordan Hahn. Andy Jin talking with the up ref, making sure they got all their substitutions figured out. Now back to serve for the Tar Heels is number 22, Jordan Hahn. Here's Brown. Getting his hands on it initially was Jack Hoppy, but it ends up going over the net for a point for Southern Virginia. Failed to mention that starting off in this set on the floor, number 14, Curtis Stone. And now number 15, Jayton Hall, back to serve for the Knights. Here's Hall. Schaefer to Schaefer, the Schaefer special. Stick a fork in it, that meal is done. Beautifully done from Tyler and Christian Schaefer. Brown right there, ready for it. After the mishandled reception from number 19, Elias Wen. After that last assist to Christian Schaefer, Tyler Schaefer now has 11 assists in today's game. Here's the set. Schaefer to Brown. Now it's going to be just outside. It was very close. He was trying to toe that line. Not able to get it to fall. Some substitutions for Southern Virginia, including number 18, Kyler Evans, and number 13, Jeff Tomlinson. Here's Brown. Beautiful setup to Brown, able to knock it down right in front of Wen. And Brown gets his 7th kill of the game. That's just half of what he had last night, as he has a service error right there, making that his 3rd. Another substitution for the Tar Heels. Coming in, number 4, Creed Maines. Some communications happening between the coaches of Southern Virginia and the down ref. Waiting to acknowledge the substitution. And Maines will be serving for the Tar Heels. Tomlinson set up for Evans. Beautifully timed. Again, folks, if you're not familiar with the sport of volleyball, those quick sets to the middle blockers are the most difficult to time, because just not even a second after the setter has touched it and puts it up in the air, the middle blocker is supposed to be right there and ready to throw it back down. Getting that one to fall is number 9, Sean Gibson. Gibson gets his 2nd kill of the game, tying for the leader in kills with both Zaire Sharifi and Jack Hoppy. Number 23, Hunter Nelson, back to serve. Tomlinson to Christian Schaefer. It was tipped at the net that time by Andy Jin, changing the trajectory so that Jack Hoppy could not get to it. Another point for the Knights, with Evans back to serve for Southern Virginia. Serve just outside from Evans. Substituting back in are the starters, number 10, Tyler Schaefer, and number 15, Jayton Hall. And for the Tar Heels, number 20, Andy Jin, back to serve. Nice short serve. Bianchi gets that tipped at the net by Sharifi. So count as a point for Southern Virginia, making a 5-point lead. Here's Christian Schaefer to serve. That time Hoppy getting it through the two blockers. Those being Hall and Bianchine. Another substitution for the Tar Heels, number 7, Clayton Gates. And back to serve is number 9, Sean Gibson. Schaefer to Hall. Keeping it alive somehow was Andy Jin. Here's Hall again. He wanted that one back. And he gets it that time. Some more substitutions for the Knights, including number 14, Curtis Stone, and number 17, who will be back to serve, Connor Stokes, the freshman from Fresno, California, making his first appearance on the floor today. Stokes has a different serving strategy. He serves from all the way behind the baseline of the basketball court, and regardless of it being a little unorthodox, gets a service ace. Sails just over the net that time. Christian Schaefer keeping it alive. Here's Hall, back row. They're gonna call a double that time, I believe that was on Stokes. And come back into the game is Jeremy Brown. And for the Tar Heels, number 22, Jordan Hahn, back to serve. Schaefer to Hall. Gets it past Clayton Gates for the kill. Jayden Hall gets his 5th kill. He is now 2nd on the team in total kills. Behind the two teammates that are tied, Christian Schaefer with 7 and Crystal Bianchine with 7. Now Jayden Hall will be back to serve. Brown rising up, getting a kill off the mishandled second pass. We've seen that scenario several times so far in the early games of this 2023 season, where it's basically a free play over to Jeremy Brown. You can just tell. He gets a little light in his eye when that happens. He gets a little excited for that. In that back corner. Be a service ace for the Knights. Sean Gibson for North Carolina didn't quite think so. But regardless, it'll count as a point for Southern Virginia. They extend their lead to 18-10 with Hall still serving. That serve was long. Now back to serve for the Tar Heels is number 2, Jack Hoppy, who has 2 kills today. Some more substitutions for Southern Virginia. And number 18, Kyler Evans. Number 13, Jeff Tomlinson. And number 5, a crowd favorite, Mateo Kimball. Here's Hoppy. Gets a service ace that time. Going after the newly substituted Mateo Kimball. And when I say that Mateo Kimball is a crowd favorite here at Knight Arena, I'm definitely not exaggerating. Every time he comes into the game, the crowd just gets a little louder, gets a little excited for him to be on the floor. And that time, Andy Jin, another trickery play from the setter. Hoppy back to serve once again. Tomlinson to Stone. The quick set over the middle. Successful once again for the Knights. Timeout called by the Tar Heels, as the Knights have a 6-point lead, 19-13 here in this second set. Again, the Tar Heels have been able to keep it close. They've been able to make the plays they need to. Of course, they've been helped as well by plenty of the errors we've seen from Southern Virginia, which have been very uncharacteristic, including attack errors. There have been 5. Whereas Southern Virginia leading in all these other categories, including total attacks, they lead that category 44-33. Hitting percentage, they're leading 500 to 121. Assists 22-9. That's just because Southern Virginia's been able to set up their offensive attacks more consistently and more cleanly than North Carolina has. Service aces, the Knights are dominating that category, 8 service aces to 2. They're also dominating the service errors category, which tends to be the case in volleyball, both men's and women's. If you lead in aces, you lead in errors typically. They're leading that category 10-3. The Knights are leading in blocks, both solo and assists, both 2-1 for solo and 2-0 for assists. And we've seen a lot of block errors as well from North Carolina. I mentioned that North Carolina's been able to keep players at the net, get them in position in front of hitters, been able to frustrate Southern Virginia so they don't get clean kills, but they have had the 7 block errors. But right now, again, North Carolina making things a little difficult for the Knights of Southern Virginia. And back to serve is Mateo Kimball. Last second decision to keep that in the air was Gibson. That one sails out on the Tar Heels. Puts the Knights at 20 points. That's going to hit the back line. Beautiful serve from Mateo Kimball. That one didn't necessarily have steam flying behind because of the power, but the accuracy was exactly what you want. And it makes you doubt just enough. That time just sails out on the near side. Got some substitutions for the Tar Heels, including number 4, Creed Maines, who serves as team captain. Tomlinson to Schaefer. Off the hands of number 23, Hunter Nelson. Another point for the Knights. Cristo Bianchi checking back in place of Connor Stokes, with Curtis Stone back to serve. The Knights 3 points away from taking the second set. Keeping it alive with Schaefer. Here's Evans. That was tipped at the net. That'll go down for Evans. With that last play, Evans got his second kill of the game. Hustling after that time was Andy Jin. First pass is a little wild, nearing close to the scores table. Now set point for Southern Virginia. Here's Stone. And that'll be it for the second set. It was a solid receive from Maines, but ended up flying into the ceiling, changing the trajectory, and there's also miscommunication as to who was going to set it up for the second pass. But the Knights take the second set 25-14, allowing just 1 point less than the first set when they allowed 15 points to the Tar Heels of North Carolina. Some statistical leaders after that second set. Christian Schaefer still up there, along with Cristo Bianchi in kills with 8 apiece. Jeremy Brown following with 5, Jayden Hall with 4, and for the Tar Heels, Zaire Sharifi, Jack Hoppy, Sean Gibson, and Andy Jin all tied with 2 kills apiece. So seeing a lot of contributors for the Tar Heels of North Carolina, just not able to capitalize on other opportunities that they have had so far in today's game. And with that, we'll take a short break here on Knights Broadcasting. We'll be right back.
Just a reminder for everyone, today, 4 o'clock, women's basketball is home here in the arena. Please show up for the women's basketball game at 4 o'clock here in the arena.
And we're back for the start of the second set between the Tar Heels of North Carolina and your Southern Virginia University Knights. The Knights took the first 2 sets of today's contest, making them now 11-0 in sets to begin the 2023 season. You best believe I'm going to be keeping track of that as long as the Knights are undefeated in sets. And that's looking to close out this game, hopefully getting their 4th sweep in a row to start out the year 4-0. Of course, North Carolina making things just slightly difficult for Southern Virginia. Again, I've mentioned before, North Carolina's had players in the right positions, whether it be at the net or in the back row. They made it to where the Knights can't get as many clean attacks and clean hits. And the Tar Heels start off with a service ace. And during the break, my team and I, we were talking about the errors that Southern Virginia has in today's game, which have made things closer than if you look at the rosters or the schedules and win-loss records of these teams than what it would be. That point goes down for Southern Virginia as it's tipped at the net. And one thing that we saw was that although Southern Virginia leads in service aces, right now they lead 11-3. They also lead in service errors 11-3. So all the advantage they have from those service aces is negated by the service errors that they have. The only player, though, one of the few players to have a very efficient serving day so far has been Curtis Stone. Curtis Stone has 2 service aces compared to 0 service errors. Again, being very efficient behind the line. Here's Tomlinson to Evans. Evans with the power and authority. Evans getting himself his 3rd kill of the day. Another oddity we noticed in the stats during the break was that Justin Mattson, the libero for Southern Virginia, who usually leads in digs, not having so great a statistical day as far as digs is concerned. Leading that category for Southern Virginia is actually Tyler Schaefer with 5. Mattson falls behind him with 4, but we usually see him in the double digits by now, just because of how consistently he's able to be in the right place at the right time. We just haven't seen as much of him as maybe Knights fans would like to. Now back to serve for the Knights is number 1, Cristo Bianchine. Sailing out on Bianchine. Again, another service error that has hindered the Knights' ability to get some plays set up and to create more distance in the score. Back to service number 9, Sean Gibson. That sails out, so back-to-back service aces for both teams. Coming back onto the floor for the Knights is number 14, Curtis Stone. We mentioned he has 2 service aces compared to 0 service errors, which is great to see because last night against Arcadia, Curtis Stone struggled behind the line. We also see senior number 20, Steven Rasmussen, check back in. Another setup to Evans and another kill. Rasmussen back to serve once again for Southern Virginia as the Knights have a 5-2 lead in this 3rd and potentially final set. Nearly gets the friendly serve roll. Was that close? That's a serve that every volleyball player both hates and loves to see. When it starts to sort of rotate and almost fall over the net, making it almost impossible to get to it. As we have some more substitution conversations here for North Carolina. And checking in to serve is number 1, Zaire Sharifi. Tomlinson to Kimball. Blocked straight down that time by number 2, Jack Hoppy. Sharifi back to serve once again. Hoppy now has 2 blocks in today's game. Here's Tomlinson to Stone. Great hands that time from Nelson. Tipped that time by number 7, Clayton Gates. And just like that, the Tar Heels tie back up at 5. That short from Sharifi, short that time. And checking back in is number 19, Elias Nguyen, the libero. And serving for Southern Virginia is number 18, Kyler Evans.
One side on the net. Trouble. Free ball.
Tomlinson to Kimball. Another great block for Hoppy. Hoppy so far has had Kimball's number. Ties it back up at 6 apiece. It's hard to tell if the sets are just a little short for Kimball or if Hoppy's just fully there at the right place at the right time. But number 11, Roberto Martinez, back to serve for the Tar Heels. A little miscommunication on the set from Tomlinson. And just short of going over the net was the hit from number 7, Clayton Gates. Gives the Knights back the lead, 7-6.
Hey, sets up.
That one sails out from Kimball. Ties it back up at 7 apiece. And coming back in for the Tar Heels is number 4, Creed Maines. Floats are beautifully placed by Maines. I don't think you'll ever see a better short serve than that. It was within the 10-foot line, just over the net. Beautifully floated over, made things very difficult for the Knights to recover. And just like that, the Tar Heels take just their second lead of the day. Here's Bianchine getting it past the hands of number 20, Andy Jin, for the kill. Rasmussen comes back in, as well as number 17, Connor Stokes, who will be back to serve. Blocked straight down by Rasmussen. Rasmussen getting his second block on the day. That serve just short from Stokes. Ties it back up at 9 apiece. Justin Madsen comes back onto the floor. And for North Carolina, number 1, Zaire Sharifi also comes back in with number 23, Hunter Nelson, back to serve. Here's Tomlinson. The pin to Rasmussen. Folks, if you've been listening to Knights broadcasting for a while, when I've been involved with commentating volleyball games, you know it's my favorite play of all of volleyball is the pin. Beautiful setup, running down the net for the middle blocker. I absolutely love it when that's pulled off, as clean as it is, and that one goes just out of bounds. Andy Jin trying to get it just inside the line. It's a good idea. Great spot to try to place it. It's just out of bounds. Now Jeff Tomlinson back to serve for the Knights. That one sails out. Make it service error number 16 for Southern Virginia today. Now number 20, Andy Jin, back to serve for the Tar Heels. Tomlinson to Bianchine. Beautifully done block that time by number 9, Sean Gibson. Ties it back up at 11. And that one sails out on the serve from Jin. Gives the Knights back the lead. And what has been a very back and forth third and potentially final set. Here's Bianchine to serve. Beautiful opportunity here for Southern Virginia. The quick set across the middle to Rasmussen. Pulled off to almost perfection. And Rasmussen with that one gets his 3rd kill of the day, and a timeout called for North Carolina as the Knights take a 13-11 lead in this 3rd set. Again, North Carolina's made things complicated for Southern Virginia. It's a combination of North Carolina making several great plays with blocking, some solid serves as well, including the beautiful serve just a few moments ago from Creed Maines just inside the 10-foot line that really threw Southern Virginia's offensive attack out of whack. And also for Southern Virginia, they've added some substitutions. They're trying to rotate some players in that as the season goes on and as conference play comes into the picture, maybe we'll see less playing time. So it's when you rotate like that, it's hard to maintain momentum that you have as a team throughout the game. Because again, you have people getting on the floor for the first time, getting to their own rhythm of the game. So it can make things rather difficult. But Southern Virginia, again, with a 2-point lead, trying to close out yet another sweep to start the year. Whereas on the flip side, if you're North Carolina, you're feeling great about yourself. Again, Southern Virginia in the top 15 in men's volleyball in Division III. And in these first 2 sets, including this one, you've made Southern Virginia earn it. You have made them earn every single point they've had to get, and you have not let it be easy for them for 1 second, which, again, when you're a club team starting out like UNC is, that's something you love to see. That's something that makes you confident that maybe down the line it could be an official program, an official team. Who knows? Future could possibly be very bright for men's volleyball at the University of North Carolina. Now with number 1, Crystal Bianchine back to serve for Southern Virginia. That one falls close to the net. Tomlinson trying to dig it out, but it falls as a point for the Tar Heels. Substitution for the Tar Heels as well. Number 7, Clayton Gates, with number 9, Sean Gibson back to serve. Tomlinson to Kimball, trying to avoid the block. He struggled with that so far in this 3rd set, and it sails out and ties it back up at 13 apiece. That serve just short from Gibson. Gives the Knights back the lead. Come back onto the floor for Southern Virginia is number 14, Curtis Stone, with Rasmussen back to serve for the Knights. Stone, happy birthday to you. Freebie right up for grabs, throws it down on the far side of the floor, and extends the Knights' lead to 2 points. Rasmussen back to serve once again. And it's going to sail out. Number 9, Gibson was diving for it at first, but I believe they may say that Gibson touched it, because he did dive for it, and I believe he made the last-second decision to maybe not go for it. But it was very close. But they're going to call it as a point for Southern Virginia. Sharifi getting over the middle. Bianchine trying to make something out of the short serve from Rasmussen. Coming back in for the Tar Heels is number 23, Hunter Nelson, with Sharifi back to serve. Sharifi so far is second on the team in kills with 3, just behind Sean Gibson, who has 4. Quick set to Curtis Stone. No one to back up the blockers that time, and that falls for Hoppy. Brings it back within 1 point. Tomlinson to Evans. That one's in. Evans has had kind of a quiet, dominant third set. Feels like every single time it's been set to him, he's been able to knock it down with ease. As that ends up being his 5th kill of the game. He is tied for second with both Jayton Hall and Cristo Bianchi.
Trouble, trouble!
Somehow to get it back over, that time was Jin. Kimball still struggling to get past Jack Hoppy, as well as that time number 23, Hunter Nelson. Some more substitutions for Southern Virginia, including number 3, Bryce Stringham, and number 15, Jayton Hall, come back onto the floor. Stringham got some playing time last night against Arcadia. Hall trying to dive for it. That serve may have possibly gone out, but instead it's tied up at 17 apiece. Stringham to Kimball. That one sails out. Again, Kimball really struggling to establish some sort of rhythm offensively, as the Tar Heels take back the lead. Stringham to Hall. Gets it to fall right in front of Ruperto Martinez. Ties it back up at 18. Hall responsible now for 8 points in today's game. Here's Kimball to serve. Blocked straight down by Curtis Stone. Stone getting his first block of the game, and it's a beauty. Kimball back to serve once again. Last second decision to go for it that time by Gibson. Here's Stringham. Jayden Hall once again playing mind games at the net, tipping it over. The defensive effort at the line for North Carolina. Now the Knights have a 20-18 advantage in this third set. Again, it's been very much back and forth. It just feels like Southern Virginia offensively just really hasn't been able to get anything going that has been consistent and reliable compared to the previous sets. Again, you have different rotations going in, different substitutions, and so again, it makes it a little difficult when you're trying to close out a game. But regardless, they still have the lead right now, 20-18 over the Tar Heels of North Carolina's club team. Once again, I want to mention our athletic partner, Straws Drinks and Eats here in Buena Vista, Virginia. If you're in the Buena Vista, Virginia area visiting a student, athlete, brother, sister, son, daughter, whatever the case may be, if you're in the Buena Vista, Virginia area, you want a place to go to get some nice treats, good place to hang out, it's a great atmosphere in general, go to Straws Drinks and Eats. Straws, thank you so much for your partnership with Southern Virginia Athletics. So now if you're Southern Virginia, you're hoping to just close out this third set, want to get out of here with a clean sweep once again. There's definitely some notes they're going to take away from this one. You're going to go back and look at the footage and see some sloppy things that ended up happening in this game, including 12 total attack errors. You also had plenty of service errors of 16. Block errors, you had 3, so not necessarily anything too much to note there. Southern Virginia has 1 ball handling error compared to North Carolina's 0. So plenty of things to go back and learn from as the season progresses and as you go more into conference play, as you venture to away games for the first time in the season. That serve sails out of bounds from Kimball. Checking back in for the Tar Heels is number 4, Creed Maines. Stringham. Hall, even though the serve was a little high and the timing was not quite there, able to get it to fall. We've seen plenty of smart plays from Jayden Hall where he notices that someone's at the net ready to block, and he just taps it right over knowing there's no one to back it up. And that's why he's gotten a lot of his points here today. With now number 14, Curtis Stone back to serve. Beautiful serve. Stringham to Bianchine. Getting that one to fall is number 9, Sean Gibson. Even though there was both Jayton Hall, Stephen Rasmussen, and Crystal Bianchine right in his face. Now back to serve for the Tar Heels is number 23, Hunter Nelson. The Tar Heels down by 1. The Tar Heels on the verge of being swept. Loud cheer in the arena for Forrest, the trainer here at Southern Virginia. Even the players from North Carolina getting in that cheer for the trainer Forrest here at Southern Virginia. I love to see stuff like that. Some things you come to expect from volleyball games here in the barn. We even saw a moment like that last night where Southern Virginia took the time to give appreciation to the officials of last night's game. Just a lot of positive energy from these games at the barn, which is one of my favorite things about broadcasting with Southern Virginia. I believe number 23, Hunter Nelson, needed to wrap his knee really quickly. I believe he had a slight blood situation, but that is all taken care of. Once again, Hunter Nelson will be back to serve. Here's Stringham to Hall. Joining on the spot that time was Andy Ginn. Madsen keeping it alive. Here's Hall once again. That time putting the power into it. Probably said to himself, enough of these smart plays. I want to put my arm into this one. And that he did. Now Jayden Hall back to serve in the ninth, 3 points away from yet another sweep. Great hit that time from Gibson. Brings it back within 1. Some substitutions for both sides. For North Carolina, will be number 2, Jack Hoppy, checking back in. For Southern Virginia, we had number 18, Kyler Evans, as well as number 13, Jeff Tomlinson. With number 20, Andy Ginn, back to serve. Ginn slipped on that serve a little bit. So point for Southern Virginia. The Knights now 2 points away from a sweep victory here in the barn. Here's Bianchine back to serve. That one sails on him as well. Subbing back in for the Tar Heels is number 7, Clayton Gates, with number 9, Sean Gibson, back to serve. Tomlinson to Evans once again. Evans has been a man on a mission in this third set. Like I said before, whenever it's been said to him, it feels like he's been able to knock it down with authority. Evans now with 6 kills in the game out of 9 total attacks. Set point for Southern Virginia. Rasmussen with the serve. That one sails out on Hoppy. Hoppy wanting a tip, but a point for Southern Virginia, and the Knights complete the sweep as they start off the year 4-0 and 12-0 in sets, continuing their win streak in beautiful fashion again. This third set wasn't the most beautiful set you'll ever see from Southern Virginia by a long shot. There were a lot of little complications, a couple of errors here and there, and North Carolina's club team here definitely gave Southern Virginia all they could handle and made sure that they did not get anything easy in this one. But again, Southern Virginia starting off 4-0 to start the year. Again, plenty of notes to be taken into practice this next week for the Knights. They'll have one more home game to start the season, and then they'll finally have a road game against California Lutheran University next Friday in Ashland, Virginia. But not before their 5th home game to start the year against the club team of Liberty University. That'll be here in the barn at 7 p.m. as well as here on Knights Broadcasting. Knights men's volleyball making the regular trip around the arena after a victory. But speaking of Knights Broadcasting, later today at 4 p.m. here in the barn and on the program, we'll have women's basketball featuring the Knights of Southern Virginia as well as the Tornadoes of Brevard College. That is a USA South matchup, so if you're into Southern Virginia basketball or basketball in general, be sure to tune in to that one. We appreciate you tuning in to Knights Broadcasting and supporting Southern Virginia athletics. On behalf of myself and our production team for broadcasting, I'm Dawson Weeder. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and go Knights.